Hey guys, how you doing? So I'm here for Google Hangout, and pretty soon I'll probably start making these live when I do them. So maybe I'll let you guys know, and we can join in on some sessions. I have some ideas just to kind of work together, doing some of the various techniques that I do. A lot of times you guys ask me about different parts of my processes, so I think we can do something like that. So I'm here in my studio, which is one of the garage bays in my house. There's 3 cars. And so this is my studio side. I actually like these kind of studios. I have a space outside, and where I like going there, and I normally do certain techniques there. I also like it here, and because I can just be messy, and I'm pretty messy. I do my work, I'm kind of messy. So I like that about it. It's plenty of space for me to kind of do that sort of thing. So it's still a work in progress, but I mean, I've been actually getting work done in it and kind of just getting the kinks out in terms of how I want to do things. So hopefully the lighting is pretty good in here and you're going to be able to see this process. So let's start off right now. So this video is on jelly printing. I'm so excited because I got my new plate. They now have this huge, look at this. Oh, look at this thing. It's awesome. It's huge. It's they're 12 by 14. And I am so excited. I've been wanting to work with this, and I've been in my studio doing work, and I've been doing jelly printing, but until I could actually do this justice, I didn't even want to start using it. So this is a premiere, a debut. I was asked by Gelli Arts to be a part of their blogger program, and I gladly accepted it because if you guys have followed me any period of time, you know I absolutely love jelly plates. I think they are like one of the best things, like my grandmother used to say, since sliced bread. You know, it's an old term because you know bread just comes in big loaves until they start selling it pre-sliced. And I really do think so because I use it in so many parts of my process as an artist. A lot of techniques, it seems like, just work so well for the jelly plate. And so I think in fact, you know, I've discovered a number of ways to work with the jelly plate that I like, that fit into my type of technique. And not to say that no one else out there is doing it like this, because I just don't like to make those kind of generalizations. I do believe that a lot of the ways I'm working with it is unique to my particular style of doing art. And a lot of you like the way I create my textural images. I'm constantly getting questions on how I've created certain things. And I say it's a jelly plate, people are like, you couldn't have done that on a jelly plate. So I decided, since I'm now in association with Gelli Arts, and I like to let you guys know that up front, because I only work with products that I absolutely love and that I feel are really go with my personal techniques as a fine artist. You know, I'm not going to do a lot of crafty. Not that I got a problem with craft, don't get me wrong, because I don't want to say that either, because it's okay to work. It's okay to be a hobbyist. Let's put it like that. It's nothing wrong with being a hobbyist artist. And so many of you guys are. It's just about having fun with it. And even as a working artist, it still is about having fun with it. But, you know, I just like things that look finished and have an edge to them. And so even as hobbyists, I know a lot of you really are looking to push your work just a little further, a little further. And I think that that's how it should be. So a lot of my techniques are really about pushing things further. Okay, so we're going to start off first. I'm going to show you the various plates. So I wanted to also tell you that I'm in association with Gelli Arts because I want you guys to know that. And if you use any of the buttons on my web, well, if you go to my blog, Your Creativity Coach by Robyn McClendon, you'll see a button there. Also, if you go to robynmcclendon.com, under Gelli Arts, there's also a button there. If you click and go through and purchase anything, you will receive a 10% discount. Okay, so I want you to know that. You don't have to do that, but if you want to save a little bit of money, you can go through the site, and they're offering my folks 10% discount on any and everything that's on that site, on your entire purchase. There's no limits on that discount. Alrighty? Okay, so let's start off by talking about, first I'm going to show you the materials that I'm going to be using, and then after that we're going to get to work. So I have all 4 of the Gelli plates in these various sizes. I don't have the circle. I've toyed with thinking of beginning about the circle, but I kind of like squares and rectangles, so I haven't explored it yet. I'm sure that if I got it and started exploring it, I would come up with some uses that works in with the way I like to do art. So all 4, so I haven't tried the big size yet, although I know I'm going to love it, because even before Gelli Arts came out with it, I thought, I wonder if I could contact the company and ask them to make a larger one. And actually, I would like for them to make one 4 times this size, quite frankly, because I have some ideas for it. But let's be happy with what we got, right? But I use all of these plates, the first 3 sizes I use all the time. And I can't imagine that I won't be using this really large one all the time either. So I was showing them, you guys, like this, because when I know that I'm done, like if I'm going on vacation or something like that, I actually put my Gelli plates back into their little things, but I generally don't, because I use them so much. I really just kind of keep them out like I keep my brushes out, because I like to be able to reach for them, and I don't want to have to go through taking all this off. But generally, I will keep the plastic over. So this little plastic piece, I will keep that over them just to keep them protected, and you know, that good stuff. I'll put these away, and I'm going to show you what my plates look like. Generally, this is what my plates look like. This one, I was working some prints on it, and this was the last print I pulled, and this was what was left behind. But I leave it on there because when I start working again, I'll end up pulling this up, and it'll be so yummy with something else. So this is what my plates generally look like. This is one I was working on yesterday, and so this is what was left on me. I think this is the last print that I pulled. It was just like a little ghost because I was working on some ideas. So I don't clean my plates because I like all the junk on them. That's a part of my technique. That's a part of how I like to work with the Gelli plate. So for me, the more stuff, the merrier. And I have had these plates. I think this little one is the most recent one that I got, and I've had this maybe 2 years now. This was the first one, and I've had this, I know, for 5 years, this one. And I think this one I've had for at least 3 years, maybe a little more, maybe 3 years for this one. But I mean, I do not do anything special. I don't do anything special to clean them. I mean, literally, my plates are like the other stuff I use. Like this is an Indian textile stamp. And I love this pattern. I use it all the time in Gelli plate printing, but you see it's all kind of stuff on it. And every now and then I'll clean it, but mostly I just don't clean stuff except for my brushes. That's about it. So I have had 0 problems with these Gelli plates. They still print beautifully. At least beautiful for my technique. And so, you know, you can keep your plates really clean, but I have found that these things are so durable and just so great that they do not need a whole lot of special care. So I wanted to show you that these plates, I'll put these away because I'm not going to be using these today, but because now we got to get my new plate all broken in. And I have some ideas for this plate, but I won't be doing them until I get this thing really broken in, which means I got to get a lot of layers built up, and I need it. So this session that we're going to do today is going to break this plate in, and I'll be showing you techniques while we're doing it. So let me show you some of the stuff I like to work with. I'm going to show you the papers first. I love working with these rolls of paper. You probably have seen them in my various, on Instagram on my feed, and you've seen me use these things before. I don't think I've actually shown you the rolls, but literally it's like paper that you get from Home Depot. It's in the paint section, and it's used to mask off sections. So, you know, you put this down on the wall or on the floorboard or something, and then run the painter's tape, you know, along the side of it. So you can find this in the painting section. I found this brown paper, and then this green. I love this green. Oh, this really works in well with my palette. So I use this a lot to print on and to do off prints on. I use, let me show you. I use this paper a lot. It's like the drawing paper, like a manila color. I love this stuff. And it comes in two sizes, that size and this size. So these two sizes. I like the color, background. It's not really good paper, but I just like the way it picks up the paint. I use this a lot when I'm going to collage back in or on top of the surfaces of other papers. And I like the BFK and the Reeves. They work beautifully with Gelli plates as well. They're pretty expensive, those papers, so I normally use those in my final processes, either to adhere to, or if I'm pulling prints, I've worked with it enough, I know exactly where I'm going with my pieces, and then at that point I use them. So today we'll be using these. Also, this is like stationery paper. It's like stationery tissue paper that you use to put between, you know, like when you get wedding invitations and there'll be like that piece of paper in between it that's supposed to help absorb the ink after it was printed. Well, that's basically what this stuff is. I get it from the station. I get it from paper supplier. You know, like if you go to your local paper supplier that supplies like printing businesses and things like that, they'll have this paper there. So I get that, which I love this. We have some waste prints that we're going to be printing on. Always good to have waste prints. And this is some more drawing paper. It's like this here. It's the sort of same kind of texture to it, but it's in a kind of off-white. And then let me show you something else I'll be using. I use this a ton in my work. So I wanted to show you the whole thing because, well, I'll show you this first. This right here I got at yard sale, and it was maybe 4 or 5 packs of these that hadn't been opened, and they might have been 50 cents for a pack, and I still have like so many of them. And I use this paper a lot, and I still haven't gone through it, but it's the old grade school paper, you know, like handwriting paper that has those lines on it. And I love it because see how it's yellowed around the edges, and I like the quality of it because it's thin, but it really holds up to absorbing the paints and the inks and being pulled. And so, and I love the background texture on it. So I use this. So don't, you know, definitely, I'm sure a lot of you go to yard sales and stuff like that. I know I'm speaking to my tribe here, but look for this kind of stuff. Look for all this, it's just so good because it gives you a lot of variety and background. And because I also am a book artist and I create books from my Gelli print papers and what have you, I'm always, when I'm printing and working in the studio, I can be working on a finished piece, but a lot of my ghosts, a lot of that stuff, I'm picking up on all this other paper because then I use it in various other techniques to create the pages of books. So we have that. And then this I want to show you, this whole little stack, these little yummies I got, look at this. I'll show you what they are. I got these a couple of days ago. I went into the local Savers, like Goodwill, you know, and these were all bundled together. They had just taken and you know, put tape around this whole bundle, and the whole bundle was $3.99, and then I think it was 30% off day, so I got it all for $3. Well, look at this. I got this old, you know, what do you call this stuff? Typewriter paper, carbon paper, the whole big thing of it. And this I don't use in jelly printing, but I do use this in some of my other processes, and especially in book arts, and just to transfer images under drawings. And this is so neat. If you can find this stuff, I mean, you know, it was back in the days of typewriters, so, but a lot of this stuff is still out there. So this, definitely snatch it up. And then I got a thing of just typewriting paper, which interestingly enough is similar to the paper that I was just showing you there, that tissue paper. But the thing about it is that this is going to be cotton because it's old paper. So this is like a cotton stock. Love it. And this is, so this is erasable bond. See, that's $3.99. That's what the whole package was. So if you find this stuff, it is great for printing on. So use some of that. I always get this graph paper. This was all in this package together. I love graph paper. And what I liked about this is that it was like really small. I'm always picking this up. But you see how small those squares are? So I really like that. That was in this little bundle. And of course, this Collier pad. Love it. I'm always, I'll tear some of this out. I print on this kind of stuff as well. And the pièce de résistance is this. Good old onion skin paper. This is 25% cotton, but it's old onion skin paper. I love this stuff. If you don't find this at your local, you know, thrift stores and what have you, you can buy it like on Etsy. A lot of people that resell stuff, when they come across this, they'll sell it on Etsy, and sometimes it'll be $10 or $15 for a box because people are kind of onto it, that it's kind of hard to find. But get it because it's worth it, because normally you get a whole box of it anyhow. And I have like boxes of this stuff because every time I come across it, I buy it because I love it so much. And there's all different, you'll find all different types of this, but it's, you know, that good old, and I love it when it's old like this. You can see the top, this is whiter than what was on the bottom. You see, it's kind of hard to see. So this is just aged a little bit more than what was on the top. I'm not sure why, but I love it. So we're going to take some of this, and this is, I really, 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 really love working with this onion skin paper, because you hear a lot of people out there using, you can use like tissue paper that you wrap your gifts in, you know, the kind of stuff, the real thin tissue paper. And it does, I mean, I like a lot of the techniques that people do with that. And I use tissue paper myself. Sometimes it's very absorbent and it can rip on you. So if you really want a super thin print and you want it to be translucent, but you want it to be strong, like you can maybe do more layers and really build up, then this onion skin paper is the best. It's really, and this one's a little thicker than some other I have. Let me see if I can show you guys. Hold on. Because some of it is even thinner. Let's see, here's another box. I think this one I actually did buy on eBay or Etsy or something. Now this one is even thinner. I'll show you the difference, but it's all good. Whenever you come across it, don't say no to it. Let's see if we can see. Can't see it. But anyhow, I don't know if you can tell the difference in it. This is just a little thicker. I think you can kind of see. This is a little thinner than this, but all of it is good. I'll show you how I work with it. So we'll work with some of this. So those are the papers that we're going to be using. And remember, this whole stack of stuff I got for $3 because it was all bundled together. That's a good day at the thrift store when I go, and I mostly go in right to the, I go right into the section where they put all that old office stuff, and it's a bunch of binders and old stuff there. But I snap those up because that paper is really, really good. And normally they sell it for a little bit of nothing. The other thing that I like using, since we're on this topic, I just got these a couple days ago. You can see it's $1.99. These folders, oh, I love using these because actually I'll print on these as well, and I print on page protectors, which I'll show you guys that. If not today, I'll do a specific one on that. But then I use these to make, I'll show you, to make stencils. See, that's what this is. So basically what I did is I just went down, folded it in half, and cut those sort of square shapes all the way down, and I do them with squares, I do them with circles. And this I've had, trust me, this one I've had for, oh my goodness, 5 years for sure. This one, it's one of my favorites, and it's still good. It's not ripping, it's nothing, and I did it on one of these. So you can make all kind of stencils, any kind of, you know, organic. So when you find these, and $1.99, are you kidding? This box in the stationery store would be, if you had to order this, I mean, I think these are like $60 or something for these. It's like $250 in this, $1.99. So these are all good stuff for jelly printing, and it can cost you a little bit of nothing. Okay, so now let me show you the stencils, and then we're going to get started. I thought I would really take a lot of time with this so you guys can see exactly what I'm using. Oh, let me show you this. This is my little tag box. So you can sort of see in here with me. I love using this stuff too. I got all these tags in here. You see I print on them. And then these, you know, I use them back in, I mean, this is just one of these kind of Rolodex thing. I probably found these at the Goodwill too. But I like them because it's a nice card. They hold up really well. I mean, they're interesting with that little tab there. So a lot of times I'll use it back in collaging, or I'll put them together and I'll actually glue reinforcers on here. Let me see if I have any reinforcers. Generally, I have them in here. But you know those little round things. Let's see. I don't see any in here. But you know that, like these right here, but they're white. So normally I'll print those as well, and then I put them around the front and back to actually cover these holes up, and then I'll use them as book pages. So I'll have to show you guys how I do those as well. Boy, I have a lot of techniques I can show you. Of course, this is printing the tags. These are good to use back in your work. But I also like the surface that this ghost print surface that it leaves behind when I'm printing and I pull these up. I really like that's left behind on the plate. Here are some of these little coin envelopes that I've printed. So we'll print some of that. So we have some tags, some of the coin envelopes, some of these cards. And then I love using these wax bags as well. I print on these too. And then I'll use these a lot in my assemblage. A lot of this stuff is used in the assemblage work that I do as well. So we're going to be using these. Put those over there. Now for the stencils. These are 2 new stencils I haven't even used yet. Look at those. Yay. Circles. You guys, if you follow me, you know how much I like circles. And I got these specifically for my big plate. So I was excited about those. And here again, I don't really spend a whole lot of money on my stencils and things like that, you know, because this stuff can really run up. And when I'm using it on this Gelli plate, you can see how my stencils look. They're like gunk all over them. But, you know, they're fine for jelly printing. See, it's stuff all over them. Because I'm not going to stop and clean these things. So what I do is, like, I'll look at, like, Tuesday mornings. If you guys have Tuesday mornings around you, they always have these stencils. And they're like I got this one for $2.99. You know, this thing is like $20 at Michael's or Joann's, or I think this one was like $2.99 or $1.99. So I often find things that I like there. I like using good old bubble wrap. This is another one of my favorite stencils. This is a favorite one of mine too, and I got this at the dollar store. It was in a group of them, and I cut it off because I like this pattern the best. So, and oh, I also like to use this Punchella, the waste from it. I have a lot of this. So I like using this. You'll find that a lot in my work, so we'll be using that. And here is another one of those Page Enforcer stencils. And I love these circles, so I'll use that. And then these are the stencils you make out of glue sticks. I'm sure you've seen this. What's her name? Is it Batista or can't think of her name, I'm sorry. But she came up with this using hot glue gun to make stencils and then using it back in jelly printing and stuff like that. So if you want to know how to do this, look up glue gun stencils, I think, on YouTube, and you'll find out how to do those. But there's a few of these that I use that I like. And then another one of my favorite patterns is this Tim Holtz. It's like called burlap or something like that. So yeah, burlap. I like the print. I like anything that's sort of irregular. So we'll be using this stuff here. I have the big bubble wrap. Okay. Thank you. It's probably good. Keep this to the side in case I want to grab anything else. Let's see. So those are the stencils. The paints that I use, I love the Blick matte acrylics. A whole lot. Sorry, the lighting sucks. Okay. It's like bright right on it. And of course, I love the golden paints. Now, I personally, these are the kind of paints that I use in my work, because a lot of my work is I'm using back in my fine art pieces that I sell, things like that. So I really don't use the craft paints. The one craft paint that I do use that I love is, I really love the color of it. So I have a tendency to use this one, Champagne. The metallic Champagne, I love this one. Oh, but it makes more of a layer. So it's thin. So it's going to make more of a layer over it. So it's not going to give it, but as far as craft paints, mostly I'm not using them. I have a lot of them over here, because I sort of was, I don't really, but I stopped using them, so I probably should just get rid of them. But I have tons of the Blick matte. So let me get my favorite colors out, okay? And then we're going to get started. And let me have some of my green drink. I love making this green drink stuff. It's actually just wheatgrass, powdered wheatgrass, and a little bit of local honey. Tastes really good. Okay, so I have all my goldens over here, so I'll be using those. And then some of my favorite Blick is gotta find my colors here. I like the Celadon. This is great. I like this Amethyst. It's kind of like a pink. And oh, here we are. I moved them over here. Celadon. I love this Indian yellow. It's one of my favorite. And also is this nickel Azo yellow. Love this. And so I'm probably going to start with those because I normally will use these to get my plate going. So there may be some things I'll pull from. But anyway, so we're going to get started in this. I'll tilt it down. Let's get going. Those are all the supplies that you'll see me using. I wanted to make sure that we went over all of that because I know I get a lot of questions on that. And if you know, in order to kind of recreate what someone else is doing, you kind of have to use the same supplies, right? Or else it's not going to come out the same. Especially when it comes to paints, you can forget it. If you don't use, if you're doing someone else, if you're kind of seeing something that someone else likes, and if they don't tell you their paints and what have you, it's very difficult to recreate that. Look at this great new plate. Yay. You can see I'm like, I'm like a kid in a candy shop. Yay. Oh, so beautiful and pristine. It won't be like that for long. So the first color that I like to do when I'm working up my colors, for some reason, this Celadon green, keep on pulling this warm gray, which I like it, but I don't want to use it yet. This Celadon, I don't know what it is about this Celadon that it is just my palette. So what we're going to do, we're going to put a little bit of this. And I'll kind of mix on the plate. I'm going to use a little bit of this yellow. This is this nickel Azo. And I think I'm going to take a little bit of this amethyst. Okay. And it's kind of hard for you guys to see because, of course, I have the waste sheet already has colors on it. So sorry about that. Let's see if I can find some that doesn't. Let's see how that inked this plate up. Love it. Oh my God, just having more space to spread it out. You see how that looks? Let me do it like this. Look at that. So I'm gonna get some paper here. I should have probably already done this, but of course I didn't. I'm not gonna worry about it right now. So let's pull this. Now it's interesting that I have a plate bigger than the paper that I'm using. Yay. That is unbelievable. So I'm gonna put a little bit of pattern. Oh, I forgot to show you these. I use these wood blocks. This is my favorite. Just love what it does. So I'm gonna just, and then let's put this down. Now you can see this is very close to the color of the paper. So it's gonna be very monochromatic, which is good. I love that. Oh, I'm loving the size of this already. Oh, you guys gotta go. I'm already saying, you guys gotta go get one of these. Wow. Yay. See that first print? We can see. Love it. Okay, so let's. This Celadon is just incredible. We're just going to work. And I work very instinctive, so you're just going to see me put stuff down. I basically told you the colors that I'm working with right now. When I change a color, I'll let you know. Right now, we're going to stick with this. And I'm just going to pull a number of sheets. Okay, so I'm going to knock a little bit of this on here. And then I kind of put the extra right there, so you can see. So I'm gonna take this big stencil here and put it down. And I'm gonna take another large sheet, just do a print over it. So here again, I use my hands a lot. I can just feel things better that way. And when you have the stencil like this, you kind of really do want to get it down in between so you can pick up this pattern. Okay, that's neat. That's a good surface to do like that. And then we're going to grab what's left there. And I'll pick up a lot more of it. I really like how that's picked up the pattern. Okay. See that? That's all good stuff. So now what we're going to do, we're just going to keep on building texture on the plate. It's one of the things that, so let's see, I'm going to put a little turquoise and then one of the things you notice is I don't thoroughly ink the plate. So this will just break the surface up some. And then you see how I'm transferring. I'm all about building up texture. So all this is getting transferred. If you notice here, this stuff that's left behind, that's because on my bubble wrap, it's old paint. And so when it starts coming off, it'll come back off onto my plate, and all that good stuff helps me to build my texture up. So I love that. So this is drying a bit, and I'm going to come in with a little bit of this quinacridone nickel azo gold. I love this. This is one of my favorite colors. In fact, it's getting thin. I need some more. These what do you call it? These Golden's paints are expensive, but I tell you, they're worth their weight in gold. Don't let anybody tell you they're not. Now, I get it. If you can't spend the money on them, or you can't, you know, do a lot of it, I get that 100%. But if you can just buy one color, you can just buy one color. Just find your favorite color. Like, I love this one. You know, or if you just want to get the gold so you can use it as an accent, whatever, get it. Because even if you're using the craft paints, when you use the Goldens with it, it just makes all the difference in the world. Now you see I'm letting this dry. I'm letting these layers that I just put on there dry now, because I'm going to put a white down, and then I'm going to pull that print. I got so much stuff over here. I got to remember what I have, because I am going to start pulling some of the smaller papers we talked about in a minute. Okay, guys, you got to get this size. And it's really not all that expensive. I think it's like, well, this one was sent to me by the company, I have to say. But I was getting ready to buy it. They offer, you know, as a part of the relationship, they say, well, what do you want? I'll send it to you. And I'm like, oh, my God, that big plate, if I'm not being too greedy. And the owner was so sweet. She said, no, sent it out. But I had just looked at them at Blick, and I think they were like $75 or something like that. And then you know, they have their 30% off or their 40% off coupons and stuff like that. So I was going to buy it like that. I happily, and now that I have it and I'm using it, I happily would pay the $75 for it. Believe me, because the size alone is just incredible. Okay, so now that's dry to the touch, see? So now what I'm going to do is put a white down. And I like to, now there is what I like to use. Not so expensive paints like this paint right here. It's the Dollar Raleigh, but it's the Simply acrylic brand. I think I get this from like Walmart, but it's thick and I like it. So I can get a nice coat down. So when you want to do this technique of pulling the stuff that's like paints that you already put down and they dry and you want to pull it up, using a thicker texture paint, generally a white, will help pull it up better. And I'm gonna just put some small dots here real quick on here. Okay, see what we have here. So normally when you do it like that, when you put the white down, it's a thicker coat and you really want to press it and give it a little extra time. See how it's starting to absorb, so the paper's buckling, but not too much because, you know, the paper can start coming up with it. Like the paper can stick onto the plate, and I've done that before, but because I like a lot of texture, that generally doesn't bother me anyway. Looky here, yay. Oh my goodness. Doesn't that look like an old wall? Oh, I love this. Can you guys see that? Just getting all that great texture. So now what we have is, I'm gonna put some of the Celadon down, because I still have color down there. And so let's mix it in. Need a little bit more for some of this. I kind of use the Gelli plate the way I paint. You can kind of see that. I'm just adding and kind of getting things the way I want them. And then I'll use the back of a paintbrush to kind of inscribe. Use a little bit of this Golden's White. And then I just kind of use the back of the brush. That's kind of how I give it, you know, really monoprint painterly kind of look. And then let's pull up this again. See what comes up. Okay. Oh, I gotta get in the section. My nose, allergy season. Although I've been done really good this season. Thank goodness. Really haven't had a lot of problem. I think it's because I have been doing a lot of the local honey. Okay. It's a nice print. Oh, look at that. Now see how that next layer, that first layer that I put on, see how it came up now? Remember, this was what was down first. So when I put a lot of the white on, it loosened the paint and it gave me really more texture and a little bit of that color. And then I just put some, what did I put? Put a little bit more of the Celadon with this. And see how much of that I pulled up. And even though this was the last image I put down, it really just pops through the layers. I love this. This over here, let it dry. So now we're getting somewhere. Let's see, I'm gonna put some more of this, and was McClendon. And one of the ones I like, it's amazing. This color is just super awesome. If I can find it. I can't find it right now. It's a pink, but it's like a transparent pink. Why can't I find it? Well, I'll have to show you next time. So we'll put a little bit, so we put those colors on. Let's put like a buff, even though my back, but because I'm gonna use some different paper now, so that's right. So this will show up. So let's get this all mixed in. I really just paint a lot. I just use my plate very painterly. Sometimes I actually apply the color with the brushes, and I'll show you that. We'll do that as another demo because I don't want to overwhelm. See this? That's so pretty. This big plate makes all the difference in the world. I'm here to tell you. Let's take this, and now I'm going to put I'll put one of my squares down and one of my circles so you guys can see that. With like this, do it like that. And I think I'll do it over this one right here, the textured one, and pick up some of this. It should make an overprint over it, and it'll just start building up some different shapes and textures on this piece. Yeah, you see how we get this subtle thing going on there? Okay, so what I'm going to do now, let's get some more of the Celadon. You can see I use the Celadon a lot. Oh boy. I need to probably I have backups over there. And they only come in this size. I don't know why the Blick only does white and black big. The rest of it is, I don't know why they only do that size. Anyway, I love it's making a pretty palette. Okay. So what I want to do is okay, so okay. Okay, so let me show you with the typing paper. Let's start with that. Put that down, and let's put why am I having a hard time finding my papers? Here, let's use this. So we come up with, this is how I just start getting partial things, picking things up that I'm gonna use back in collages. See, isn't that beautiful? That's on that typing paper. Yet it's still very transparent. Wow, look at that. Oh, isn't that cool? And see, I can just leave the top blank, and then I'll have the variation between the top and what's already drying there. So I'm gonna leave that like it is too, because I like that, and that gives me something to work with. And then let's put this, what's left, over top of this one. Still a good amount of ink on, paint on there, and it should be thin enough, like a ghost, to make that first print still show through. And we may come up with something interesting. You never know. Just kind of have to do these things and move this over, so I'm not digging and looking for so much stuff. Oh, that's nice. See, so I got a lot of that extra texture going on over top of this, but I still have that pattern underneath. So there's a lot that I can still do with this. I'll put that down, let it dry, come back to it, and let me see. Let me show you guys. Let's do these in these papers. So that way you can see everything, how it comes out, you know. I'm really enjoying this color palette. So let me see. Let's use this, and I want to use a little bit of this Indian yellow and the goldens. I love this. Time for me to get some more. And then some. Hope you guys are enjoying this. I'm definitely going to do more of these because I mean, I'm in my studio a lot, and kind of now that I've sort of gotten things figured out and come back from traveling, my life is in somewhat of a stable nature. I'm going to try to get, when I come out here, I'll just bring my laptop and we can work together. Let's try this green. Same thing. And let's do some black. Black is always a nice contrast at this point. Okay, let's see how that turns out. So we're going to put one of these, and let's do this one here. Wow, that's exciting. Look at that. That's, the plate is starting to get warmed up now, which is nice. You'll see why I like this. See this paper? And I like how the subtle lines will still show through, even in the print area. But I like leaving it, some of it in some lines and paint, because this makes great, this works back in book pages really well. Collaging, oh my goodness. It's the best. So let me just do a ghost print of this, a large sheet. Now I'm going to ink it up again, and we're going to use these rolls right here that I showed you. Let's do those. Okay, so not a print, I mean, not anything specific, but just see all that texture, the color, and the fact that the black was on there. I like that because then it makes a good base for when I go to actually put another layer over it. That black will act as an understory there, and that's always good. So let's do this again. Okay. This. And what is this? Let's use some of this. Like this pop, this Indian yellow just really has such a good pop to it. And let me see, so I have the Celadon. Let's get some more of this pink on here. This pink is the pink that's this Walmart brand, but it's thick, and I love this stuff. And it's kind of hard to find pinks that are not too overwhelming, but that will blend in into a neutral palette. And this one really does a good job, maybe because it's not overly pigmented or something, but it has a nice texture to it. So I really love working with it. Now let's see. I'm gonna show you guys something. So let me take some of these inks right here. I love these Liquitex acrylic inks. Love them. And even though it's going to sort of bubble up on the surface, you'll see. Here again, work on my goddess language here. I love working with these on the plate because they're going to lay there like that. But let me get this blue. I love this color blue too. It's cerulean blue. So we can put a couple of these drops down. And so it's laying, it's liquid, it's watery, right? So it's laying on the surface. However, let's see how it's going to pick up. Different papers will pick it up differently. And let's take, to really mix it up some, let's take this print right here. And let's just run this right on here. Let's see what we get. Yeah, look at that. See. So, you know, you get this smushing that starts happening, but it's very organic because the colors work well. This is, even though it's a different color palette, lines up over this nicely. So I keep on working that. Let's see what we have here. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Look at this. Does not look good? I love it. So you can see what these inks do too. Love, love, love working with the inks. I know a lot of times people are saying, oh, you can't do the You just get different techniques. I use just about everything on this Gelli plate. I'm here to tell you. And I find that it's just a very accommodating surface. So here, see, I'm going to keep on picking these layers up. And let's do the brown this next time. And I'm going to do some blue with this brown. And let's use some of this McClendon. And some of the pink. I like that pink in here. And what am I missing? Okay, that's good. Change it up a little bit. I'm gonna roll this a few more times because I want to really get a little bit more of a muted surface. And then I want to use some more of this blue, like that. And there is this yellow is yellow-orange, same Liquitex. And then let's throw a little bit of this burnt umber in it just to give it that depth I think it needs. Okay. Let's get a little bit of dark over here. So it's not so, let's be a little more balanced. Okay. So now let's put some brown on here. This plate is fabulous. See how big it is? So I can get 2 of these on here. I'm in love. Oh, it didn't take much. It takes, oh, it's incredible. Okay, so let's pull this off. Oh, look at how yummy this is. Great for book pages. Oh, great for, of course, collaging. Now I have to show you guys how to use these things back down to other pieces. Let's take this print right here. This is one of the earlier ones where you're just getting started. And let's keep on building up. Great. That's good. We're just in the process of building up texture now. Some more. Some of this. Use a little bit of this green gold. Okay. So I'm just working with my puncella, and I actually will roll right over it just to get that texture in there. Let's pick this up for the larger sheets. Do I have any left? Yep. What we can do is just take this, put it down, do some roll-offs on this paper here. So it picks up, it's constantly picking up texture. Let's see what we have here. Okay, there we go. That's quite nice. I like that. So that's good. Let that dry. So let's see. How long have we been going here? Because I don't want to keep you guys too long, because I can be at this for quite a while. Where's my clock? I can't even see where it's normally a clock on here somewhere, but I don't see it. So probably we've been going close to an hour. So let me see if there's one more thing I can show you. And then, we'll stop and I'll come back. Is there anything? Oh, I didn't show you how to do. Okay, we'll do these. I didn't show you how to do these yummies. Okay. I was trying to make sure I went through all the papers that I had basically shown you. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to get more stuff up here, more paint on the plate. Obviously, I need to pull out my Celadon now. This one's gone. Let's get a lot of color on here, because what I'm going for now is just color, basically. I'm gonna put a little texture in here just to make it look, give it some interest when it prints. But for the most part, I'm gonna just have a lot of color build up. Okay, so this is good. Smooth it all out. Okay. Let's use this. Okay, so what we do is we're just going to load the plate up. So I'll put a few of these down. And we're going to put some of the envelopes. We'll put some tags on the end here. Envelopes. Some of these bags that I showed you. Love working with these. this. And we'll put another bag here. And we'll put a tag across, a couple tags across. That's basically it. Okay. So then what I do is I put a waste sheet over it so I can really press down on these. Let's just take one of these sheets right here that we've been building up on. That's always good to use because you just get more color on it. It's just random. So now we're just really going to press all of these down into place. Okay, that should do it. See, so we have all that extra on there. Now let's pull these off. See the bags? Let me find something to put these on so that when I take them off, actually lay there and dry. So let's look. See? It's such a great way to build up some your collaging material, things that you want to use in assemblage. Even when you're, just wanting to send off packages, we do a lot of the mail art. This is a great thing to do for mail art. Look how pretty that looks. So pretty. And I just do these in groups like this because then I'll have, generally I will do the other side once these dry. Then I'll load the plate up. I'm going to show you what I can do with these. Get these dry fast enough. Look at that. Wow. Cool. See? I'm going to show you on one of the other plates what I then go back and do. Yes, that looks good. Can you imagine these as book pages? I'm going to do a book with these so you guys can see one of the ways that I use these. See? We'll do a book with these because it's so much fun and it's just really. Now there's a lot of texture that's been left back on this plate, so I'm going to leave that plate like that. I'm going to put it aside and let this dry up a bit because I want to use that the next time I come back to it. And what I'm going to do is get my smaller plate, like just to show you guys something really quick. Let's use this one right here. Okay. This. So let's take and put some gold on it and get a good layer of it. A good layer. And then take this, lay it down. And then what we just printed here, I'll do a bag so you can see what a bag looks like that. And I should be able to get one of the labels on there. And then we'll just take waste paper. And let's really press it down so it can go through the various layers. Okay. See how you pick up that bit of gold? It just puts like a little bit of gold on there. Maybe you can see it better on the larger. See? So it's just a good way to then add a little bit of gold onto each of these. Yep. And we're left back with that pattern. And then I can take these cards and just put them down on there and see what we pick up. Okay. Because there's something left there, a little ghost print. When I have extra paint, I put it on my plate. So when it's like I'm put this gold over here on the plate, that big plate you're working on, I'm gonna off roll it over there because I'm gonna let that paint dry. So I prefer it on the plate. So when I go to pick it up and use it the next time, I have a little bit of another color layer there. Yeah, it's very subtle. So I don't know if you guys can see it, but that pattern is, it's an over pattern left behind. See? You probably can see it. So yeah, so then we have these ready for, you know, exploring and doing some other things. And because I use a lot of the same colors, that I actually can go back to my box. I mean, not always the same colors, but my color palettes are normally pretty harmonious. So like I can go back in here and find some that I did earlier. But like, even though this is a lot of color to this one, see that one? It'll still work in nicely. So as I think about creating maybe some book pages or something, I can go back into my little inventory here. And so you can see this and begin, so you can see what I got there. Thinking about what else I want to do with it. So always, always, always. So always just constantly pick up, everything is usable when it comes to Gelli plate and Gelli printing. And I'm always building up these layers and these textures, all this extra stuff. It's not a finished piece in itself, but I have a tendency not to use Gelli plates to make finished pieces. Every now and then I'll come up with a print that's just like, bam, that's how I want it. Normally I'll do a number of overprintings, or I'll stop with something that I really like this earlier piece here. And that is dry, I can show you. I mean, there's a lot of texture and stuff going, and movement going in, and then because I have those lines in there, this will work its way into, as collage paper, into some of my finished pieces. And so as you know, I keep on exploring in the studio with you guys, and I'll promise I'll do more of these, because that's just was my New Year's promise, is to really do more on this channel, because I'm in my studio just about every day working, and why couldn't I turn on this computer a couple times a week and show you what I'm doing, right? I can. So thanks again. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Leave me comments and let me know what your questions are, what other techniques you'd like to see with the Gelli printing, or any techniques that you think that you've seen me use before and you'd like to know more, or you haven't found a lot of it on YouTube and want to know if it's something that I do in my studio. I also do cold wax. I just finished a cold wax workshop in San Miguel de Allende in Mexico, and we had a lot of fun down there. And so I'm gonna show some of the cold wax, because it's not enough of that on YouTube, and it really is a cool process, and it's so easy to do, really, actually. It's just you working with it like anything and developing your own techniques. So I'm gonna do some cold wax demos as well. All right, listen guys, thanks a lot. It's good to be here with you. Thank you, welcome into my studio, and we'll be back for more. Alrighty, take care, bye-bye. Thank you, Robyn McClendon here at Robyn McClendon on YouTube. Bye-bye. And also follow me on @RareBirds That's my Instagram page, and I keep that up daily, RAREBIRDS. So you can basically every day see what I'm doing in the studio. And then, of course, my blog is Your Creativity Coach by Robyn McClendon.wordpress.org. So, yeah, just check me out in a few different places. And thanks again. Alrighty, bye-bye.